Hi guys, you are listening to the Cattlestrength podcast. If you enjoy this show, don't forget to give it a share. Back once again with the Renegade Master. Dan Meredith, what's your name again?
Dan Morgan.
Dan Meredith.
What was your middle name again?
John.
John, I thought it was.
Yeah.
Daniel John Morgan.
Daniel John Meredith Morgan. He's back.
He's back. He can't keep away. He's ready to see Aberystwyth Tesco.
Dan's podcast has skyrocketed in the what, league standings.
The league standings.
Yeah,
So you're still behind the OnlyFans.
I don't think you're going to take that one off.
I reckon the only way you're going to do that is by getting your kit off.
Nobody wants to see this rig anymore.
Dan's going to start an OnlyFans now.
Soup sandwich.
What would you?
You like that one, didn't you? Soup sandwich. Yeah.
Melted wheelie bin, I like as well. What would your OnlyFans name be if you were on OnlyFans, Dan?
At soup sandwich.
What's yours be?
EatPT.
Me.
Sure, I reckon Jim Pony would be quite a good OnlyFans name.
Well, the amount of times...
There's got to be a Jim
The amount
Pony.
of times Meg Harvey messages me and says, should we do OnlyFans? Horse Girl Edition. I'm like, no.
There's got to be a Jim Pony OnlyFans now.
Probably.
Somebody's already done it.
If anyone's listening that's on OnlyFans, if you're willing to type in Jim Pony and see what comes up and send us,
Yeah.
I am intrigued.
I'm not
Do
putting
you
that
know
on my
anyone
search
that's
history.
on Jim Pony? I mean, on OnlyFans.
Hannah, came in the pod.
Yeah.
Shout out to Hannah.
Other than, like, do you know anyone personally that's like a...
I know one or
Do
two
you?
from a total,
That
but like, I
pays?
don't know how
Or
long
that is
they
on it?
lasted. They've
yeah.
done it and they've made money and then come off, I think.
Women or girls?
It's a
Boys?
big gamble, innit? Like, we were on about this, like, for food. You're literally putting it out there, and if it doesn't take off, you put your fanny out there for $7.99.
Dun, dun,
Like literally, if it
dun.
doesn't come off,
Yeah.
you're screwed. It's a big ask, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't.
If you could guarantee that you're going to make some serious cash, it'd be worth it.
Oh yeah. But what's serious cash? 200k a year.
Yeah.
What would you trade? Like, because unfortunately, once it's on the internet, it's there forever, isn't it? So when your kids go to school, 10 years time, like, oh,
Mum's tits are there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen your mum's box.
Yeah, but you're like, yeah, my mum's got a G-Wagon and you're still driving around in a Fiat Punto.
I'm in a Punto. She's crying in a G-Wagon. But you're going to have to be mentally strong if you're
I
girls,
would
you know.
rather have a Punto.
I'd rather have a G-Wagon.
Yeah, I'd have a G-Wagon.
And show... Okay, what if...
I was trying to convince my other half to go on.
Well, if my mum was on OnlyFans, but I get to have a G-Wagon, I would take the G-Wagon.
What, and the rugby boys are all... You're going to Benidorm this weekend, the rugby boys are like, hey, Reece, you see your mum's box?
Yeah, that's like-
that word has really tickled me.
That's mild for rugby banter, isn't it?
Thanks, mum. I love my... I love my new cat.
Love you, mum.
Love you, Mum. Oh,
Amazing
poor
Christmas.
I
Eunice.
don't know if my mum listens to the podcast.
She does. Did she text you this week and say, if you enjoy your podcast, Reece?
Yeah, she'd be like, what's a G-Wagon?
What's a box?
Imagine explaining that to your mother. Where do we start?
Anyway,
Yeah.
who's this week's pod sponsored by?
This week's pod is sponsored by... Massive shout out, actually. Gerard, he reached out to me, wanted to sponsor the podcast. So he specialises in gym maintenance. So he goes around gyms all across the UK maintaining the kit. As we know, the ski ergs, the rowers, the assault bikes, they have a battering, don't they? They gather up with dust, etc. Hammering, yeah. And a lot of gyms don't know how to maintain them. So Gerard, he's sponsored the podcast. So he's left a note. So his name's Gerard. He's the founder of Elite Gym Maintenance. His journey started in the British Army back in 2014, where he gained hands-on experience maintaining complex equipment. As a gymnasium second-hand in command, he spent 7 years overseeing and upkeeping all the gym equipment, so he's got mental experience, learning the critical role maintenance plays in safety and performance, and now he brings that same precision, reliability, dedication to gym equipment, servicing businesses and offering maintenance, repair and installation services to keep every gym running smoothly so you can focus on your clients. So if you'd like to follow him, it's Elite Gym Maintenance on Instagram, or if you would like to send him an email and contact him directly, it's gerard@eliteGymMaintenance.co.uk. But I'll post those links in the show notes. And yeah, he's got a pretty sick business and he works with a lot of top-end gyms in the UK.
Have you had him down here yet?
Not yet, but I know No.
I need to get him to Mighty because I saw him. He followed me the day, and like I looked at my bike gig, and I think it's got like 7 million miles on it, and I haven't serviced it.
I'd
once.
like to meet him just because his name's Gerard.
Cool
What
name.
a name.
Well, we actually before I
Nothing to do with his expertise. I just want to meet Gerard.
But we are the local bike shop in Lampeter has done a few like maintenance stuff with us. Makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, I haven't checked mine for about 4 years, so I probably need it done.
Like you do a 2K test on a rower, and then you give your rower a maintenance, and just go again. Like 2 days later, you'll probably beat your score by quite a bit.
We'll do
It's the
that.
easiest way
we'll
to
do
get
that
better.
before I test Charlotte next.
Yeah. Just like put loads of dust in it for the first.
I got told that if you put a towel or like a coat over a ski erg or a rower, you can manipulate your time. So you can, like a load of boys did it for like CrossFit Opens a couple of years ago.
There's no drag.
Or try into 8 minutes of drag, so you get a much better time.
Yeah, so when they first turned up with the brand new ones when we bought the new gym, they kind of wrapped them in cling film.
Oh yeah.
So I just jumped on it thinking,
Pumped out of time.
I was rowing like 130 splits and I wasn't even breathing heavy. I was like, what is going on here? But,
Walking around like an absolute boss. Just cut the cling film away.
Yeah, so if anyone wants to beat their 2K score, just get the cling filling out and...
and don't tell anyone, just take a photo
ring
of the
Gerard.
screen. Or ring Gerard.
Yeah.
Now, before we had you on last time, Dan, we asked you a space fact. So we're going to go back in today now. We're going to get a space fact 2.0 off Daniel Meredith Morgan. What's
Daniel John.
Funnily enough,
Daniel John Meredith
I
Morgan.
was wondering what this was going to be. I thought you might go somewhere else, but I've got a backup.
No, why would I go somewhere else?
So, did you know, I think this is another Brian Cox one, I hope I quote it right, there are more galaxies in the observable universe than there are grains of sand on Earth.
That's the one you said last
No,
time.
I didn't. I said the white dwarf one last time.
Yeah, I did.
I'm going to say the other one off camera.
Oh,
I thought that the actual fact was there's more stars in the universe than there's grains of sand.
Might be stars, but then I suppose a star is a solar system, don't it? A star's surrounded by planets, so it's probably either or. Might be more stars, but I don't know. Are there lone stars?
What was the one that Paul told us? That was a good one.
I can't remember.
No, I can't. It was like this.
Me and Katie have got the attention span of
Are you,
Spam.
are you now both obsessed with space?
I
or
love spam.
I'm trying to think of any other ones.
We, before we get you on today, we actually asked the worldwide audience, the millions of listeners we've got in the pod, what people would like us to talk about. We had some interesting answers. Mm-hmm. What did you have?
Liver King, coaching, EatPT, steroids.
Oh.
A little bit about obviously the Ozempic and Mounjaro stuff, but there's not really that much more to say than what we said last time, other than
it's boring now, isn't it?
It's everywhere.
Boring.
There's more about it all the time. And weirdly, I did see that you can get. I spoke about the third drug last time, that Retitude. It's not clinically approved apparently yet, but I saw that you can buy it off a website already. So somebody's found a way to get it out there. Whether it's probably come from China or something, so God knows where you're getting, but these drugs are getting to the market quicker all the time. But other than that, I think we said everything that needed to be said about...
Well, I do have a fact about Mounjaro. Just
Go on
checked
then.
it out.
Come on
now.
then.
Apparently, there's over 7 million people on the jab now.
So,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Not at all. And you got to think...
My source was May Joan.
Was that worldwide?
me? Fuck's sakes.
Is that worldwide or UK-wide?
Unclassified at the moment.
Unclassified.
We'll have to ask me.
You have to ask May.
I think...
She's my correspondent.
May Joan, et al. 2017. Yeah.
It would be interesting to see how many more, maybe percentage-wise, in the UK are on it, because it's so much cheaper than the US. Like in the America, or in the US, it's like $1,000 a month apparently, whereas over here, weirdly, one of my clients who don't train anymore, he just finished with me, he was saying that he's thinking about using it, and his friend told him that he had to do to apply for it, you've got to tell me your BMI, so he lowered his height, put his weight up. Then they wanted a photo, so he said he pushed his chins down, and then he said they wanted a video, so he put loads of a jumper on and baggy clothes, and he got sent to his house.
Fuck's sakes.
So it shows that no matter how hard they rail against it, people will find a way.
Tits out.
Yes.
Slouch.
But that's I think the Mounjaro stuff is done. But because I wanted to ask you guys why did you get into PT and what started you in PT? I don't know who wants to go first.
I'll go first. Why are you laughing?
Just like this. I'll give it.
To be honest with you, like I think a lot of people go into being a PT because they love like health and fitness, or they've found their own story through health and fitness. I think with me, I realised I like coaching more than like that was my main passion, coaching people. So I did a sports coaching degree, and there I worked in schools and I coached kids, rugby tag, etc. And then I worked with the youth, and I was working with kids in school, like kids with either learning difficulties or young adults who. It was called NEETs at the time, so not in education, not in education, something training, and basically meant that they weren't likely to go to sixth form, and so you wanted to give them accreditations, and I really enjoyed that, and they improved so much, and I actually got a massive buzz of coaching people, and that then, because I was playing rugby and I was getting into health and fitness, that's what kind of got me into coaching initially, to be completely honest with you, and I think it's the actual coaching aspect that I'm mostly passionate about. If I had to choose coaching or,
Online.
strength and conditioning, I'd probably choose coaching, and that's what I really enjoy, and that's what kind of led me down the route then of becoming a PT.
Do you prefer then, just caveat before we come on to
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, no.
I want to know, like, do you prefer one-to-one coaching, or do you prefer group/team sport coaching? Because I know from my own personal experience, I did classes. I fucking hated them, being polite.
Yeah.
You're like trying to punch smoke. You're trying to cage rats. Like being polite. Like
They're very different.
like classes are fucking. I thought it was a nightmare. Unless it's like a high-end sports team who are really like attentive and focused on task in hand. I used to get fed up with it. Whereas I find with one-to-one, I get so much more of a impact with that person. You've got more time. You can spend time on certain things.
Yeah.
Like, do you prefer?
That's where maybe you can control your inner chimp.
I would say that I enjoy them both, and they're very different. If I had to choose the perfect class size to coach, I'd probably choose like a small group PT, so it'd be like 1 to 5 or 1 to 4. But I think there's a massive different skill set to coaching different sizes of groups as well, and I think you can get really good at both. Obviously, there is a cut-off point where, depending what you're trying to coach, etc., you're not going to be able to coach efficiently and cue and correctly if you've got like a massive group. But I think you can to a certain extent. I enjoyed both. I'll be completely honest with you.
If you had to pick one,
I'm lucky with Cattlestrength. A lot of my members have been with me for over 10 years, so they've gone from being a one-to-one client to now being in a group of 16. So I know them very well, and I know a lot of the current members very, very, very well. So a lot of gyms don't have that. I think we're quite unique in that sense. If I had to choose, I would choose small group PT. So it'd be like 1 to 5, 1 to 6 kind of ratio. And that you get the banter then. Yeah. I think it actually helps to drive performance if you've got other people training in the class as well. I think people push each other and they motivate each other as well. That would be the sweet spot for me, I think.
Shows how much, say, we differ as coaches. And,
yeah.
I found, as much as I hated classes, different setup to what you got here. I found if I had 40 to 60 people in a kettlebell class,
we don't have 40 people.
The atmosphere was mental. Like you could really buzz off it, and then I would struggle if 3 turned up at 8 o'clock on a Tuesday night, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
And I found it wasn't the same buzz, but then I didn't have the same sort of kit you had here. I think you can do more with the setup you've got here.
Yeah.
Whereas I preferred Blage or rather one-on-one. Whereas I think I'm gonna obviously see what your preference is as well. What do you think? What's yours?
It depends who's in the class.
Because some people can make a class, can't they?
Yeah, I'm quite happy, same as Reece, coaching a small group or a big group. Obviously it's a lot harder if you've got something a bit more skillful with a big group of numbers. Do you know what I mean? But I really like a good number of people. 10 to 12 I quite like.
Oh, so you're in a moderate group then?
Yeah, as in I quite like that. You know, especially if you're going to pairs, you just got 5-6 pairs. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Which I find that quite easy to get around, that kind of number.
Easy
if you're for coaching, yeah.
Coach,
I mean, the whole thing of you saying getting frustrated, it's frustrating when you obviously explain the workout, everyone's staring at you and they're all not listening.
Yeah.
And you say any questions and then they all say no. And then within 2 minutes, how many reps was this? How many rounds is this? How long is that? What weight? And you just and that does, but that's also me managing.
I also find it's not dangerous, but a good example this will make you laugh probably. I had to get say 30 in a class, explain the class, and it's just a solid basic circular circuit, easy exercises. I knew we had a couple of slam balls, but I knew there was a couple of med balls mixed in, so I separated them. And I was like, that's a med ball. Don't throw that at the floor.
That's gonna
Don't
bounce.
throw that one. I blew the whistle to start. And I
Blew the whistle.
I blew the whistle to get it cracking, and there was a girl in the class who was a bit of an header. I just saw her like land on her back. I was like, what's going on over there? She'd thrown the med ball as a slam ball, like taken a chunk out of her lip, and she was like comatose on the mat. And I was like, what the fuck has gone on with her? Like, took 2 seconds. I've told you 3 times, like.
I know.
And that's like, for me, that's natural selection. That's Darwinism at work, like. I was like, out, get yourself patched up. You're gonna get another instructor off the front desk because you're the walking wounded. Like, what are you doing? Like, because they were chatting shit and not listening, and I used to really, like, I'd be like, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah, it does.
Would you
it
say
does take
though?
a lot of patience.
Would you say though that you've got to take ownership of that and say, I probably could have explained that a bit better?
No, so 3 times. How many times can I go, don't pick that up? And some people, they only learn, don't they? Like lemons, they'll walk off a cliff like unless you stop them. I just gave up after that. I found people weren't bought in, and I was like, I can't be dealing with this anymore.
Have you read Extreme Ownership?
Is that Jocko Willink's
Yeah.
book? No, I haven't.
Good little
Worth
book.
a read?
I like it, yeah. But
Is
it goes
the same
on
as
to
all the
that.
other self-help stuff, though? I
No.
find a lot of self-help can be quite samey.
Well, Jocko Willink's legit. He was like top end of the Navy SEALs for about 15 years, and he was the team leader. And his book's all about leadership and how to lead people and how to lead yourself, etc. But he just believes in extreme ownership. So, contrary to what you just said, that girl, could you have done something a bit better to explain?
No.
Dan
There's
John
only
Morgan
so
said
many
so.
times you can go, don't do that. And if they do it, I was like, no.
Could you have moved the ball to a separate location where...
I probably should have taken the ball
I
out to
think
the room.
I think it sounds like you should have removed the med balls from the situation. I think it's on you, Dan. To be honest,
I
with
will
Did
you.
you do a reflection of the session?
Self-reflective.
What would you do differently next time, Dan?
Take the ball out.
Did you fill out the accident book?
Yeah, loosely used accident book. Scribbles on a paper saying this, you can't sue us. We've all done that, haven't we?
Is she okay now?
Depends on your draft is okay. Like, interesting character.
I don't think she was okay to begin with.
She was just an interesting character the best of times.
She wasn't okay to begin with, was she?
Because I wanted to come on to you then. So why did you move from... I don't know if you completely come away from it. What made you leave the horse environment to kind of come towards a fitness and health environment? Like, did you
Common
get
sense.
bored? Did
No,
you...
Reese just suggested it, to be perfectly honest with
Just
you.
found you wandering in a field.
Yeah,
Without...
aimlessly with no horse, just a saddle. No, I trained with you through COVID online, and then trained obviously in the gym, in the old gym. And then Reese mentioned that he was opening the new gym and said, I think you'd be quite good at coaching.
Offer.
And then at that time, I like done on and off trips to Oz, showing over there, showing here, showing there. We owned a restaurant, we trained racehorses, and at that time, Mike, my husband, decided he didn't want to do racehorses anymore. It just wasn't making enough money, and yeah, it was just a lot of man hours for
The return.
not any return. Like, we were putting money into it. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, Reese kind of said it to me, and then I spoke to Mike, and then was like, well, actually, this could be a really good thing. I already taught, like, on and off over the years, people to ride. So, like, I kind of knew
Coaching was
how to
there then.
coach. Yeah, in that sense. And I do think I found it quite natural starting coaching. Do you? I don't know.
Yeah.
Please
What
reassure
did you
me.
see in her then, as another person? What did you see? Do you go,
Fuck all.
I was like, we're fucking running low on clients. Do you want a job?
Nah. Yeah, choosing people to work for you is hard. I'm really lucky. Like, everyone that coaches in Cattlestrength now has been a member before they started. So
Right.
Katie was a member for a good few years before she took the plunge to do her coaching qualifications. Alice was exactly the same. Manuela was exactly the same. She was with me online for about 2 years before she started. And then same thing with Samuela. But then Oz has been one of my best mates for years before he joined the coaching team as well. So I feel like I know everyone really well on a personal level. And I think you've got to be a good... Like, I'd rather go for good people over first before anything else. Does that make sense?
Because I was going to say, what do you look for in the coach instructor?
That's a big...
If you had to build your ideal coach, what would you look for?
That's a big thing. So, like, the All Blacks... The All Blacks have a policy, like, no dickheads.
How do you assess that, though?
Yeah, that's really hard, and I've like learned the hard way with that a few times in the past. But I think like I choose a good person over a good coach initially, but you have to be willing to learn.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest qualities is being willing to learn. So like we have a team meeting every Monday, and you know, I might call one of the girls out. Like Alice won't mind me say this the other day. Like she takes over the programming on Tuesday, Thursday with the Cattlestrength crew, and I just called her out. I'm like, oh, why have you done this? Like, where's the progression here? So she then had to tell me like, oh, you're right, I haven't done it. And then you kind of call them out then. So they then in turn will they have to be willing to accept feedback.
Oh yeah.
Massively. So then they can get better themselves. I think that's a massive one. I think that being a people person, like being able to accept banter and take banter is a huge thing. Especially when you're working in like a group environment like this. There's subtle traits that I kind of look out for within people as well. So like Katie here, for example, like when people walk in, she'll remember everyone's name.
Yeah, that goes a long way, that does. Then, a long way. And
then she'll see work as well. Not as in like, you know, she's got to graft all day, but she'll just see like, oh, if there's no coffee cups left in the coffee machine, like I won't even have to ask her, so just do it.
Initiative.
Yeah, initiative.
You can't train that either.
You can't train it.
I had loads
some
of
people
staff over
are
the years.
so...
Some people, especially sounds harsh, younger generations, they've got
it's
no
not
like,
harsh.
they've got like, this is my job description, I'm not going outside it.
Oh, fuck
and, like,
that.
I don't know if you've had it yet, but like when I was in the gym, I used to say like there was a rule of who you have on day 1 versus who you have on month 6 are 2 different employees.
Oh.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will come in all singing, all dancing, absolutely brilliant. 6 months later, they are doing the bare minimum. They're making your life hard. I don't know what you do a year, but we had people employed. Getting rid of people is a nightmare if they're employed. Like, they've literally...
Luckily, we're not employed.
Yeah,
For
but like, don't come into work tomorrow.
Because I run
they're a nightmare. They're so protected. And like one of my American clients said a while ago, he couldn't get over when he was over here working how protected British workers are. He would say like, if somebody's not performing, I'll just replace them. Which I think is extreme. But like when you've got somebody in your business who's taking the piss, which does happen.
So
I can't be around victims. Like I've been like that way for my life. Like, you know, like I love the saying, if you walk with the lame, you develop a limp.
Yeah.
So if there's people around me who are like constantly complaining, or like you said now, you know, if it's outside their job description, they won't do it, and then they complain about having to stay a little bit longer because someone's come into the gym or something like that. I'm like, fuck me. Like, did you find a career? Like this is every
the
job
gym is long hours as well. Like you guys know as well. Like I found a lot of people, they want to come in, like youngsters again going back. They come to the gym and then they'd be like, oh, can I PT on shift 9 to 5? And I'm like, nobody works 9 to 5. You're either like early mornings to midday, or midday to late, or if you're PTing and building your business, like I'm sure you guys have done, you work in the shift in the middle of the day and then doing PT around it, doing 12, 16-hour days some days, to build your business to where it is. And then these people come in, they're like, oh, it's easy, innit? Why don't I just get clients to do it? It don't work like that.
Up until Christmas, I was running a restaurant. So we're in a restaurant in our village that Mike went to primary school there, converted the whole building. Not him, because he's not very DIY, but he won't mind me saying that. And yeah, employing staff was a friggin' nightmare. Like, especially the young people, and I'm not even going to say sorry for offending them. There was like 1 out of 5 young people that would have work.
What age would they start working for you?
14.
Because I started work at 14 and I found like it builds character.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of youngsters now that don't start early, maybe it's a bit different here, but like where I'm from now, you've got to have like national insurance, so they'll take you on for cash in hand anymore like they used to when I was a kid. And it shows when they come to like work for you. Like I used to look for like ex-McDonald's employees, waitresses, waiters, or like people who'd worked in pubs because they've dealt with being like wankers day in, day out. Yeah. When they come to work somewhere like you, it's easy.
Yeah, like the mindset of people, me dealing, like the thought of serving someone a meal now makes me feel physically sick. Like I've done that all my life, and dealing with people here is so different to dealing with people there.
Yeah.
Do you know, you're still dealing with people. Yeah.
Like
exactly.
I think like when people come to your gym or like they come to PT and that, they want to be you.
Yeah.
When you've been somewhere where somebody's like talking to you on shit on Christmas Eve, you realise that difference. Whereas I think some people haven't got that confidence.
That's such a good place to learn from, though.
Sorry?
That's such a good place to learn from.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
the best was them always thinking that I loved it. They think I was a waitress. And I'd leave them believe it. Like, they speak to me like shite the whole service. Generally, like, no offence to any of you 3, but men. But, like, or they'd speak to you like a little waitress, you know. And then at the end, they'd be like, oh, so who owns this place? I'm like,
me.
And they were like, oh. And then the whole, like,
persona
changes. And I'm like, why do you think it's acceptable to speak to a waitress like shit? And now you think because I own the place.
Yeah.
And
they say how you treat waitresses or how you treat servers, how you treat everyone.
Says
don't they?
A lot
it
about
says a lot.
you, yeah.
Like if somebody clicks in a restaurant.
Or like
goes through me physically, that does.
But like you said there, how you do anything is how you do
Yeah.
everything as
Yeah.
well. So how you like rock up to work in the morning, if you turn up on time or you're turning up 10 minutes early and getting a session on the whiteboard, are you gonna clean the coffee machine at the end of the shift, or are you just gonna go home and leave it? And things
Some
like that.
people do, and like I find it's different now. I got my own business, but when I worked in a small gym business, I was manager for a while, and I did treat it like it was my business.
Yeah.
But other people will never treat it like their business, and it's so hard to get your head round. Like some people just go, oh, well, I start at 9, I finish at 5, that's job done. Whereas
Yeah.
like when you own your own place or you're invested in something, you're like, well, I can't let it look like shit. I've got to mop the floors. I've got to do like.
It's
This
just
is an
standard, isn't
horrible
it?
story. When I worked in the gym, I'll never forget this. My mate was leaving to go back to CrossFit, and he's a bit of a character. He's a bit of a
Yay.
character. And he came out,
Yay.
and he was the last one out. It was like 9:30, and he was like, Dan, I don't know how to tell you this, but somebody's left you a fun-sized Mars bar in the showers. And I was like,
Oh my god.
are you telling me you
Are
got
you
shit
joking?
in the shower? And he was like, it's not me. So I was like, Ben, I was kicking off laughing. I went and done it. This is 9:30 at night. I had to get a Karcher out. And our old showers, like a rugby communal showers. The old communal showers. I had to hang the Karcher around the wall, blast the shit. So it just dissipated.
Blast.
So I was behind like a protection screen, like blasting the shit. And then go in, and this is 9:30 at night. They'd been in since 6 in the morning. I had to swill it away down the drain and then clean it up and make sure, because I couldn't leave like a fun-sized Mars bar for the morning stuff.
Dan blast the shit, Morgan.
And you know, like when you blast in, the smell releases.
Yeah.
It was alright, and somebody tried to hide it. They put it underneath like a rubber mat, like a grill mat.
Hide the shit.
So I was like, oh, there's a marble there. And I was like, oh, it's a fucking fun-sized Mars bar. So I had to flip it over and then like just do my little...
What the fuck?
But that's not the worst though.
What? That's not the
Working in
worst.
the gym, right? You don't understand, and I'm going to go out on a limb. Women are the worst. Women
here
are
we
the worst.
come,
I swear to God,
retaliation.
right? So women always complain about clean toilets, alright? And as blokes, you know, you walk into a women's toilet, it's like the fucking Taj Mahal. It's lovely, like, there's nothing wrong with it. You've got like little soaps and stuff out. Go in the toilet, somebody could have written their name in shit on the wall and nobody'd notice. But like, somebody called me on a 7 o'clock on a Friday night once. They're like, Dan, you need to go in the women's. I was like, why? They were like, oh, just come with me, come to women's. And I don't know if it was a kid that come out of karate or something, or some scruffy bitch that hated me. I don't know what it was, but somebody had curled one out on the toilet seat. It gets better. They dug their fingers in it, rubbed it around the seat, gone in the other toilet and rubbed it on the seat. A woman did that. I never cleaned shit off the men's toilets.
You seem like we did
Have you
that. A woman. Well, it wasn't me, Dan.
It felt like it. I had to put my nose in my t-shirt and like spray like that Kleenex stuff on toilet.
Fucking
Get it
women.
all off.
Well, I'm going to tell you my poo story from the restaurant, okay?
Oh, come on, I love the story.
It was the night before my husband's best mate's wedding.
Was it a woman or a man?
I was setting it as a child. I was setting up the tables and set them all up, and there was the kids and everything. The next day I came in, I was wearing the dress I was wearing for this wedding because we were hosting their wedding at our restaurant. So I went to move the table and sort this out for the head table and just like sort everything out, and I realised, oh, there's chocolate brownie on this seat. And I thought, there was a kid there last night. I thought, obviously, I knew they had the brownie because I'd served them. I was like, oh, it's brown. And I said to the girls, I was like, imagine it was shit. They were like, don't be silly. I was like, I'll sniff it just in case. Shit.
At least you didn't go like chocolate brownie.
Yeah. So that chair...
nails and everything.
Yeah, so that chair got put in the skip
Bin.
outside, and then I went to check the toilets like I do every time, and the kid had also obviously shit itself in the toilet down the outside of the pan. So that down the outside of the pan, shit all down there. I don't know. How does your asshole
spray
miss
painted
that?
it?
Yeah, down the outside. So I had to go get rubber gloves with bleach in my fucking dress, makeup all done, scrubbing shit off a toilet.
Nice.
Like when it's kids, I can kind of understand it. So I'm hoping the incident in the gym was a kid.
A karate kid.
A karate or kickboxing kid. But I got a funny feeling
Why?
it was a fully grown woman.
Dave's like, why martial arts?
We're just offending
Because it's a
anyone.
club, it's a martial arts club in thing. They didn't just come in their gym jams and shit on
We just assume it's someone that does karate.
come in the back door.
In their gym jams.
We're just assuming that it's
I
someone.
haven't heard that one for a while, gym jam. You got good vocabulary.
Gym jams. I don't think that's in the dictionary, to be fair.
I bet you it is.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's my never work in a gym. Never
We haven't
work in a gym.
had any.
We haven't had anyone.
have you-
Shit.
No, I won't
and
go into that
smear.
story. It's for
Oh,
man's
go
sake.
on.
It's a bit of a long one, but like
I'll
the
do it.
sewers were blocked up in the gym when I first started. And there was a character I used to work with. He's ex-para, bit of an editor, and he's like, "I know what this is." I was like, "What is this?" We went out the back and he pulled
Taliban.
he pulled the drain lid up, and what I can only describe was the largest mass of Tampax I've ever seen in my life. And it was wedged in there, and it was a summer's eve, not like it is now, like lovely that sunset in golden hours there. So he got a stick from I don't know where, and he just hit it, and then he hit it again, but the pressure shot out, and like it was like a shadow covered glistening piece of shit shot up, and I just remember like ducking out the way to get away from it. And that was all women, because you're scruffs and you flush your fucking Tampax.
I don't flush my tampons.
So women, if you're listening, that's me to raise the
Women,
standards.
if you're listening,
Contrary to common
this
thing,
might
women
go-
are worse than blokes.
this might go viral now because Dan said
I hope that
this.
isn't the clip from this one. Me talking about spraying shit from toilets.
So we're gonna get loads of bad reviews out from every woman and every karate kid that listens to that.
It wasn't me.
Have you? What's your thoughts on the latest Liver King documentary? Have you watched that?
I watched it. It didn't really give a great insight into
Oh,
what he got
shit,
rumbled.
doesn't it?
Liver!
What I'm going to go out on a limb for. Have you
Watch
watched?
half of it.
Yeah, turned it off.
If you've seen
Turn
him,
it.
how it was a shock that he was on anabolic steroids. You need to go Specsavers. Like, you can tell his blood pressure is 180 over 180 just by looking at him. He's purple.
He looks so unhappy, doesn't
He
he?
looks jacked as fuck. I'll give it to him. He is absolutely juiced to the killers. But like,
He's someone who's pushed steroids so hard.
oh yeah, his liver's screaming. I'll tell you what, for fuck all.
Those kids are weird, mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't believe any of his narrative. I don't believe his kid's real.
How-
I don't
No.
believe none of it. I just think he loves juice.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of his work.
Yeah. What was his monthly expenditure?
Well, they only quoted his growth hormone, which was like 11 grand.
What?
If you've got 11 grand spare for growth,
Just on
there's
HGH.
better drugs to use. Like, I don't get it. He was using it. I don't think they ever declared it all, but it looked like he was running multiple compounds. And he was
Everything.
like £225 shredded, consistently purple. Do you see the bit of him talking about the bench press?
Oh,
Because
when the first time he ever came. Did you
Oh,
see that?
yeah.
That, I was.
you need to be
Yeah, I know, I
psychologically evaluated.
I
like.
laid there watching it, and he was like, "And that is when I started masturbating." I was like,
what?
"Okay, how is
Like,
that?"
I wanted to know, was he ripping it off or was he bench pressing? I couldn't figure out what he was doing, but he was on a bench
We had
press.
to do both at the same time. Yeah. Quite impressive.
I don't buy any of it, but I think, unfortunately, he is the problem with social media and fitness industry.
Ah.
Isn't it? But, like,
His wife is
I don't
tapped.
understand how they didn't know he was on it. Like, he's an obvious candidate. If you know anything about drugs in sport, he is an obvious candidate for being absolutely abusing drugs.
Yeah.
But that's the industry we live in, and like, you guys operate in it, I operate in it. Unless you are 6'3", or shredded, look the part all year round, you got to really show that you're something different to get clients. Whereas if you are willing to just take copious amounts of anabolic steroids, you will get clients coming out of your ears. And like, I'm all for
Yeah.
being transparent. Like, I've used in the past, not for
Yeah.
a while now. Yes, but
Transparency
you
is key, and it's
11,
brilliant.
11 grand a month.
can't. Oh, not £11 stuff like that. I think it's made in somebody's bathtub in Reading.
Not that much, I put out a bit much.
Easy if you pick it up from me. Yeah, but I think you've got to be transparent. And if any of my clients had asked me, I tell them, like, I wouldn't, like, well,
So
the
where
first
do
time
you inject it then?
Depends. You can use main muscle sites. So, like, a lot of people use leg, glute, shoulder. Easiest one is glute for most people. But then,
Is it good? You don't put it in the vein though.
oh god,
Oh,
no,
God,
fuck me,
no.
don't be doing that.
It's just like I am.
Yeah, so I did a course with Ricardo a
Intramuscular.
few years ago, which is like not danger management, but like safe use management, because there's so much of it around now, like from being in sport yourself.
Massive.
It's everywhere, especially with youngsters.
And you're naive to think it's not.
Yeah. You'll find a lot of boys will use orals instead of injectables because they're afraid of needles, but like if you go to the long or the short and look into it in a bit more detail, orals are easily fake, they're more liver toxic.
And are worse for you.
You don't get the same result off it. Like, I think we need to be transparent in the industry, and obviously a lot of these guys are fighting for sponsors and can't be seen to be using, so they'll never come out about it openly, but it leaves kids thinking that's normal.
That's attainable.
And that's attainable.
Yeah, and it's not.
And a lot of kids are starting out, like I started at 16. I didn't use till I was in my late 20s, but like there'll be kids coming in the gym when I was working in the gym and be like 16, 17. Some of the first questions they'll ask you is, where can I get it from?
Yeah.
Like, no, they haven't finished growing. Half of them haven't picked the barbell up. And the first thing they want to know is how to get it jacked as quickly as they can.
It's very worrying.
And
it's the same thing on the flip side with the girls, isn't it?
Oh yeah, with the Ozempics.
Yeah, so that's why
I
I'm
think
saying...
I'm surprised how many females will use anabolics. Mine
Oh,
loads.
loads.
There's like, I know a few that have used like Anavar and lower dose drugs. Don't get me wrong, people are always going to use and you can safe manage it, but it does change the game as well. Like, I don't know if you had any mates who used it, but like if you've heard of the Bayesian study that was released in 96 or 99, they did a group. Now this is gonna piss a few people off, but they released they had a study where they did 600 milligram of testosterone, which is like a performance dose.
I know
this.
this
We spoke about
study.
TRT. You know this one too.
I think so. Like the one where they didn't do anything.
Well, no, the 600 milligram. Yeah, the 600 milligram group trained.
Yeah.
They had a group that took 600 milligram of testosterone and sat in the house and did fuck all. And then they had a group that trained as a control group that didn't take anything. They DEXA scanned them, I think it was a week 12 or week 16. The group that took testosterone gained 6.2 kilos of fat-free mass on a DEXA scan. So, in essence, 6 kilos of muscle mass.
By doing nothing?
By training.
Oh,
training.
sorry, yeah.
So, the training group that didn't take anything,
Yeah.
the control, they gained 1.2 kilos of fat-free mass. So, it's like a 5 or 6 fold difference. The group that took testosterone and did nothing gained 3.2 kilos of muscle mass. So it changes your hormonal environment to the point of that you will have an advantage over anyone without doing anything. Now, don't get me wrong. If you want to get the most out of these drugs, and I've got friends who use them to get the most out of them, they're immensely powerful drugs and they can be used wisely. I don't recommend it, but like people do. But it shows that even by just doing those drugs and training like an idiot and not really eating well, you'll still have like a double magnitude effect of somebody who's brand new to train or somebody who's just started with nothing.
Triple magnitude effect.
So how does it affect your mood?
My theory... Do you want to go first? Go on.
And my theory is, sorry, whatever your current personality is, so let's just say you're an aggressive person or
100%.
you're a very positive person, I think it'll magnify that.
100%.
So once you've jabbed at that...
It won't make a positive person...
If you're a knob, makes you a bigger knob.
Yeah.
It's probably the best way to put it. Like, that's how I think about it. Like, I'm quite
So, yeah.
placid. I didn't notice any of those.
Yeah.
Most of my friends I've used haven't really. One of my friends used Tremble a long time ago. I got other friends who've used them, but he kind of reported like really psychological bad side effects.
That's
really
a
frightening. But
hardcore.
that's the harder end of the drugs then. But I think how kids are going to come up against this, like we didn't have this so much. I suppose we had the Ronnie Coleman videos and stuff when we were younger, but you knew. Whereas now there's this really strange grey area of like there's a lot of influences out there that could come across as
Natural.
maybe attainable or natural, but they're still using on the side. Like
It's the naivety within general population is massive.
Oh,
so like
huge.
my dad's a good example of this. I remember when we were younger. Do you remember Mariusz Pudzianowski and when he was
big
like
Mariusz,
he
yeah.
was dominating World's Strongest
Yeah,
Man,
yeah.
isn't he? And you had Zavickas who was over that side. He wasn't competing in World's Strongest Man at that point. I think it was a divide there. But Mariusz was like dominating every New Year's Eve.
World's Strongest Man.
I think Mariusz won it like 7 years in a row. Clearly up to the tills in anabolic steroids. Up to the tills, right? My dad was like, "Yassi, good job."
That means Jesus in Welsh.
My dad's like, I tried convincing my dad at the time, you know, he's taking steroids. What do you mean taking steroids, man? This is on bloody World's Strongest Man. They get drug tested. Like, I don't think they do that.
So the irony of Mariusz getting banned, he won 4 titles and then got banned and came back in another one, I think. He got banned for cocaine. Of all the drugs, apparently he got banned for like sniffing, not for jabbing.
They don't get tested, do they? World's Strongest Man now?
I think the difference with World's Strongest Man is for the main media, because they're freakishly large. They look like it's like a circus thing. People are like, oh no, he's a monster anyway. And these boys are like, Kaftor Bjornsson was 6'9" and 20 stone without ever training, like when he was just a basketball player. So he's then like 30 stone when he won World's Strongest Man. you see them as these like, they're just mutants.
Yeah.
Whereas when you see like a big meathead like Ronnie Coleman, you think, oh, he's on the juice straight away. I think there's now this, like that media was maybe the start of it becoming more in our society and kids using it and people using it. Like the amount of people I know that have used, like I know Port Talbot and Swansea's not a great example, but it's prevalent everywhere, and I'm sure most people will make the choice to use or not in sport.
What advice would you give someone now, let's just say 22 years old, and they come into you and they want to go and test because they want to try and build muscle quickly? What advice would you give them?
Like professionally, I would send them either like to go away and make their own choices on their own with like some advice. I'd be like, this is not something I can support. Obviously I can't. You're a youngster, you can't be using these drugs. You should put your time under the bar. Like I've always said, like I used 28, 29 when I did my first one. I'd been training 10 or 12 years, so I had a reasonable, don't look like it now, but I had a reasonable like lifting thing then. Whereas these kids have just started, I'd say go away and do it. But unfortunately, if they go into use, where do you start? Go for a low dose, look at a single compound first, don't start chucking everything in, and make sure you've got enough reading done so you know how to come off the drugs and how to cycle off. Whereas a lot of kids will go to their local dealer, like I'm sure it is up here, they'll find somebody who sells it, or even now you can get it mail ordered now, and they'll just sell them everything they want to sell them because they want to maximise their profit. And there's lads I've seen come in the gym, they first cycle and they're running test and trend with no like drugs to combat any anti-estrogen, no drugs to kind of like come off them. They just buy whatever they're told to buy and don't think of it. Trenbolone.
It's a compound of anabolic steroids, the very hardcore compound.
It's a NOR19 compound, which is like there's 3 family trees. You've got testosterone, you've got DHT derivatives, and you've got NOR19s. Trenbolone is in the NOR19 compound, can shut you down quite aggressively.
It's the clean off. You know, like these, in simple terms, for someone who's completely
Because I'm completely naive.
You know
to
the
steroids,
ones who look like that they've been chiseled by,
God.
and they're massive.
Yeah.
Pretty much, like you pretty much guarantee that they can try.
Yeah,
would you say that?
Well, yeah, it depends on the size.
There's a look, isn't there?
But there is a look. You can
Liver
see it. Liver King. He's probably, like, I don't want to say legally, but I would argue, I'd put some money on he's on some Trenbolone, but like, yeah. And then the dosage matters, but people don't ease into these things and take like one compound at a time and trial it to see if you have side effects. They just take all sorts, and like, I had a lad years ago come to me in the gym and he was like, oh, I've come off, because he'd know I'd done this course. He was like, oh, my dick hasn't worked for like 6 weeks. He's a rare occurrence, you don't often hear of that, but like he was like, oh, I can't get hard on. I was like, so do you take any PCT drugs? Like post-cycle therapy? And he looked at me like I had 3 heads. I was like, ah. So that all scared him a little bit. I said, oh, that might not come back, mind. See the colour drain into it. Like, just like, but they, like, the kids though, like, I don't know if society say, but like, I've always been brought up to try and understand something before you take it, or understand everything you do before you jump into it. I think a lot of people don't think there's any negatives. So they're just like, oh, that must be bad, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Whereas, I think whatever choice we make in life, like you setting this up, massive pro for your business long term, but the con could have been, I know, £1 million in your all if you don't work out.
Yeah.
Whereas people don't ever see the con, or a lot of people I talk to don't seem to see the con. And I'm thinking, you're going to find out later on in life. Like,
yeah.
Like I got a friend who used from 16 till he was about mid-late 20s, and now he's on TRT for life because he crashed his own testosterone.
Yeah.
And he says, like, I wish I hadn't used when I did. I wish I'd like stopped. I wish I, had better advice. I was lucky I had quite a lot of older guys in the gym when I was there who told me no when I was younger. Whereas I don't think people listen that much anymore, and they see these influencers
And they want an easy fix.
And there's even a thing now where influencers like posting their dosages a bit on Instagram. You'll see people going, this is what I'm taking, they'll talk about it. It's not taboo anymore. Like, we're about a similar age. Like, I'm a little older
Ronnie Coleman time was a bit taboo, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Is he not?
You got it from a dodgy bloke at the back of the gym who had a bin bag full of gear.
Yeah.
Whereas now, you can order it offline. People talk about it on Instagram. People talk about it on YouTube.
Blood work done here, left, right, and centre.
If you're going to do it, get blood work done and try and control it. But I think a lot of people need to do a lot of reading before they take sort of these drugs. Like,
at what point did you make a decision that, oh, this isn't for me anymore? What was going on in your head?
I found I'd done a couple, and I'm not going to lie, it's fucking great. Have you watched Limitless, the film with Bradley Cooper?
Yeah,
it's like that. That's the only way I can explain it. You can sleep less, you can train harder, like everything's easy. Instead of putting 2.5 on the bar, you put in 5 on the bar every week. I won't lie, it's ridiculous, but you can't run that red line forever. Like, I did a couple on and off, but I found I'm quite an addictive personality. Like, when I get into something I'm into, like when I talk about reading and stuff, like if I'm into something, I would read it. It became consuming. So like, I wouldn't want to go out for food with the other half as much, or I would just be thinking about training and eating, and I'd want to get the most out of it because I didn't
So
want to
magnified
waste
your
it.
personality a little bit,
Yeah,
like you said earlier.
100%. Yeah, like I found like I didn't want to waste a drop of it because in my head I was like, I'm taking something that's gonna potentially fuck me up long term, get the most out of it.
So when
But
you
I-
say you did it a couple, so how often, like...
Cycle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so you
but
do like
how-
a 12 week or a 16 weeks. Probably not the best way to do it now I look back. A lot of people that I know would do it for a longer time stay on and up and down dosages. Whereas
So do you jab every day?
Oh, no. Different
Oh.
compounds have different half-lives. Different compounds need to be injected differently. Like, this is the thing, is like, it's so complicated and I'm barely scratching the surface of what I try to read. And then I'm, like, you guys know, you probably know plenty in here as well that just come in and don't even think about it and take it. Especially in rugby, when you were probably in rugby playing.
This gym, surprisingly, like a lot of gyms, you know, most of the gyms I've trained in over the years, yeah, there's probably a certain percentage, probably like 10% of the gym, you know, are clearly like on it. This because we haven't got mirrors, we're more performance based, gone down the high rocks and CrossFit route. It's not, yes, it is big in CrossFit, but not general pop CrossFit, the way we program and the way we structure it. Like obviously high end CrossFit, you look at games athletes, you know, you'd be naive to think that, you know, they're all
There's some meaty birds in those games.
100%.
I was diplomatic.
But yeah, it's not too bad. I don't think with our current gym, and genuinely now. But rugby, 100%. You know, especially down
Bigger,
south.
faster, stronger.
Yeah, that's a great documentary.
Yeah, amazing documentary.
Mark Bell and
I think I made the leap. My first one was after I'd watched Icarus. And it made me realise how much of it is about. And I thought, well, fuck it, I'm going to have a go.
that bigger, faster, stronger documentary will instantly make you think.
Oh, yeah.
The
And like you look at all the things, like I think, I don't know if we can say this on camera, but I think if you look at like,
we can edit it out.
you
if
can
you
edit
don't.
out, but like the IOC, the top 50 times for the 100 metres in history, 49 of them are positive. There's only one that hasn't tested positive.
Bolt.
Yeah. And he's 0.2 of a second faster, which 0.2 of a second faster in sprinting is a fucking lifetime.
Yeah.
Now he is a freak, turns over his legs quickly, all the other bits, but
I know.
I genuinely think if he had tested positive, the IWAF would have crumbled and we'd have no athletics. He was like the golden child for years, and they couldn't do what UCL did to Lance and throw him under the bus and go, look, we've caught the best drug cheat, because they would have crumbled altogether. I think that's a sad fact about, I don't know, football seems the one it doesn't seem to be in, but like when you look at rugby and they're just getting bigger, faster, stronger every year, like there's only so far nutrition and training can go. And I don't think everybody's on it. You do get freaks. Like the Islanders are different altogether.
Different
Well,
gravy.
like, look at
Different
Manuela.
grade.
I've trained with a lot of those island boys. Like, and they're not actually that good in the gym. They're just so muscle bound, so powerful.
But
You
they
put-
can transfer it into sport, can't
and
they?
like you put them in the gym, like they just can't be asked half the time. Like they're and on the pitch, you give them a rugby ball, they'll just run over about 5 boys.
There was a stat on like a Scotland game one year, the commentator read it off. They said they did a study on Islanders versus New Zealand general population, and the Islanders have 6% higher bone mass density,
Yeah.
6% higher muscle mass density for the same size population, like of like both like
We
kilo
played-
for kilo.
Yeah.
So in essence, 100 kilo guy has 6 kilos of
Kilos
more
more.
fat-free
I
mass than
felt that firsthand. I remember playing, honestly
you get
God,
crumpled.
I remember playing, we played, we had a sevens competition, and for some reason or other, they fucking dragged me into the team. They're definitely not a rugby
Short
sevens
players.
They were short players, yeah. So I was with the Tesco team for Neath at the time. We played the British Army, and at the time, the British Army were like doing the circuit around, like I think around the world or UK, but they were shit hot, like, and they were all Islanders, all Fijian.
Don't fancy that.
There was one guy who was a winger, he was about 6'6", but really thin. You know, didn't look like he had an ounce of muscle on him. I ran into him, and no word of a lie, I've never been hit hard in my life. It was like running into a metal pole. It was just bang, folded like a wet Western mail, just gone.
Like a cheap suit.
Just head in the spokes. Love you, mum. Bang, gone.
It's
Dead.
in the smoke. We've seen like Haskell talking about tackling Henry Kulangi.
Yeah.
He's got the first man just has to scream, "I love you, mum," and sacrifice yourself.
Love
in
you,
the
mum.
sport.
Bang.
Yeah, I think some people are built different, and I think there are outliers. But I just think there's too much money in sport for it to go. Like, do you remember T-Nation? Years ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's still going, isn't it?
It's still about.
still good, yeah.
There was an article on there where they had like an NFL guy that was kind of like he was undercover sort of thing. He didn't want to give his name, but he said like the amount of drugs that these kids will take, because at 18 they either make
got
it or
one
they're
chance.
out. And the chance of getting it, like, will them in a $20 million contract, why wouldn't they take it?
And then the NFL draft doesn't even test football that much. They test it on 100 kilo bench press, max reps.
Yeah.
Like, how is that relevant to
The
playing
only
football?
test I'm good at, Jeffries used to say, vertical jump, 40-yard dash. That's the only thing it's worth for, innit? Like, watching.
How is 100 kilo bench press for max reps relevant to playing in the NFL?
It's like a 70-year-old test. There's some change.
No, it's just for the cameras, isn't it? Like, you get this quarterback who can bang out like 27 reps, and the linebackers, I think the world record is like 49 or something, is it?
Something mental, yeah.
They're just like
49?
49 reps in one go.
100 kilos.
But they reckon there's boys running sub 10, 100 metres in the NFL because there's so much pay. They don't go to athletics, like none of them are interested.
That's where the best athletes are.
Yeah, freaks. And they develop them well, don't they? But then, say the combine, Brady had like horrific numbers on every combine test.
Which shows.
And he's like the greatest of all time now by a country mile, apparently.
But he wouldn't get in now, probably.
Wouldn't get close now.
No.
Like, they just look for the freaks, and I don't think of other examples of sport. Like, I suppose it's
Chinese
like,
weightlifting. Like Chinese.
Look at the Olympic lifting in the Olympics. They've changed the weight categories, I think, 4 times in 30 years because they had so many drugs cheats all the way through that they had to change them. So the records changed.
They had so many positive tests for the World Championships a couple of months ago. Yeah.
Where was that? Was that the Thai one? No, that was the year before, wasn't
I
it?
can't remember what it was. But I remember I follow a lot of Sikh sport.
Sika, yeah.
They were talking about it. There's a lot of positive tests.
Because that Bulgarian boy, them in there.
Carlos Azar.
Yeah.
Incredible. How was he?
Is he like 21?
20,
Yeah, very young.
Set the world record at 19, didn't he? It's like junior world champ. He's, yeah. I think you'd be naive to think of it.
Like, one of my old lectures used to say, industrial chemists come out of uni as the highest earners because they'll get sportsmen and people come to them with certain drugs. They change a branch chain, you're not looking for the same drug. And like people like Dwayne Chambers and that only got caught on THG because somebody grassed him up. They were like, oh, you want to look for this drug? The testers then started looking for the drug and like, they knew what to look for. Like, I think you've read Icarus now, haven't you? Yeah. Have you read Icarus?
Oh, yeah. No.
Come on.
Sorry, I need to put my finger out.
Come on. How many pages have you done of the chimp?
Chapter 1. Hey, that's more than nothing.
I've got 2 books on the go though.
Oh, I can't do that.
I've got Shoe Dog.
The Nike one. Yeah. Any good?
It's okay. I got an Audible though.
You could probably listen to that on audio. I think Gox told me to listen to that on audio.
It's quite good, but I'm only halfway through.
I was just eyeballing
Right. Jamie's taking a photo of us on the podcast.
Creepy as hell. I'm just thinking about other questions I had for you.
What inspired you to get into coaching?
Yeah.
I fell into it, I did. I think...
Oh, like me.
Yeah, a bit like you. Like, I was just... Like I think I said last time, joined the army, hated it, came out, didn't know what to do, did a BTEC. I did my degree, came back to my degree, came out. And I had that crossroads of either doing strength and conditioning as a master's or doing PT. And at the time, I just thought, unless you're an ex-pro, you're not going to look in. So I went to PT and just found a love for it. I think I'd say I was more interested in the nutrition when I got started, because I think as much as training is great, so much of the battle is fought outside of the gym. I think you can train your absolute nuts off, but unless you've got your food dialed in, you can't out-train a bad diet. Although I think Charlie Francis said you can out-drug a bad diet. That's a different story altogether. I just think you get so much is made in those simple changes, and like some of the biggest lessons I got from like I think we were going to talk about it next, is like some of the things I've taken from coaching over the years is keep it simple. Do the basics well, like get people tracking their food, get people moving in the gym, and just get them looking for protein on a consistent basis. Once you can get that ingrained in people and change like general population habits, because I don't know if you guys feel this, when I first had general population clients, because I'd eaten a certain way for so long, when people are like, oh, I had cheese on toast this morning, and I'm like, where's the protein? But general population eat for taste, my normal, I've done it since I was 16. I don't think about a meal if I haven't got meat, or like some form of protein, whereas people eat for taste. We've then got to try and merge that to get them to eat for performance a little bit, but then also enjoy their food. And that comes on to like one of the biggest points I think I've learned is fitness is not a priority to most people.
No.
Like most of your clients, yes, they want to come and train. Yes, they want an hour out of the house from their kids or whatever. But they want to be fitter and stronger to do things outside. They want to enjoy training as an additive part of their life. I don't think it needs to be the point where you've probably got people who train 5-6 days a week. They don't do anything else outside the gym. Like, it is everything to them and they love it. But most people's lives aren't like that. And I think that's what most of my clients are now, is they've got like a good business, or they work, or they want to see their kids, or they want to be fit for their kids. Training's great, but you need to make it fit their lifestyle, not their lifestyle fit the gym. Like,
that's a really important thing to remember. I think it's a really good point.
I think
100%.
Do you guys feel the same, or?
100%. Yeah, no, I do. Like, everyone has a why, don't they? Like,
I think a lot
And
of
it's
people...
not just to be shred-headed.
No.
Or it's not just to be the strongest in the gym. I
I
think a
would
lot of
say
people
that the
literally just want to feel a bit better.
I think the main reason a lot of people do it, and me, 100%, is just for my mental health. 100%. Okay, yeah, I don't want to be a little, like, Buddha in the corner. And I love food, so, like, my diet is not 100%. Like, I probably eat quite well Monday to Friday, and then on the weekend, I'm like a child at a buffet.
That's like 99% of the population.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm great. My clients are normally great Monday to Friday.
Yeah.
And then you got to stop necking 10 cans of cider and having like Toby Carvery on a Sunday. Like,
when it comes
Well,
to...
our closest Toby Carvery's over an hour
oh,
away.
here
so I
we
don't-
go.
I
What's the
don't-
closest? Somebody Google closest Toby Carvery.
It's an hour.
What, come out of then?
Yeah.
As we said before, civilization.
we touched there on simplicity works. You know, like eating protein every meal, keeping it simple.
Yeah.
What if you were to divide, like, with your training plan now with you? How would you like structure the ideal training plan for yourself now?
For myself?
Yeah.
Things have changed over the last couple of years. Like, I love training, but at the same time, I think it's become so ingrained as just a habit now. I don't get the same level of enjoyment out of it as I used to. I think it's just part of what I do.
You train on your own as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Billy Nomit's
That's
music off.
lonely. Music off?
Psychopath behaviour.
That is psychotic.
You've got to think about what you're doing. Too many people are singing fucking Pink Pony Club and not thinking about breathing and bracing.
Owen does this as well. Owen trains with the music.
Yeah. I think I have to think about what I'm doing when I'm
Not in
training.
a wad. He does it in a wad.
He does it sometimes, doesn't he?
No, he had a hissy fit one day because the app went down and he couldn't get the music to
He
work.
strikes me as a trainer with no music. Not that I'm a serious trainer, but I just find I need
He
that
writes
clear headspace to
everything.
think
He
about
writes
it.
everything on the whiteboard and breaks down everything second
Yeah.
by second, millisecond.
But that's why he was the fittest bloke in Wales at one
Yeah.
point, didn't he? Like that attention to detail break, those
And do
micro
you know what's
goals.
funny is Mike's told me that, you know, every time, this is my husband now, he only just started training, and I think he's only just now accepting that he kind of enjoys it slightly, only this much, because he fucking hated it. But he said every time he goes home, I'm like, oh, what do you do? And I already know what the workout is. But he breaks down the whole thing for me and says, I know that if I do this first round in blah, blah, blah minutes and this and that, and he like psychoanalyzes the whole
Is
time.
his job
thing.
analytic?
No, he used to be a horse trainer, but then he'd know exactly how many seconds a quarter of a mile would take on the track. You know, he'd like analyse
Jules
everything
like
to that.
Gops.
Yeah.
But then I'd say like a lot of the
But his
clients
job is analytic, isn't it?
data, I
Yeah.
find a lot of the clients I've had that are very good at like tracking and get very, very lean
Yeah.
have that like engineering, data entry kind of background. Like they need
Yeah.
like that spreadsheet background.
But Mike's also the type of person he'd have 2 muffins every day in his packed lunch, right?
If you
And
can fit them in.
No, you know, since coming... No, he's always been very slick. He's very small.
Yeah.
But you know, since coming to the gym, no more muffins.
Is he?
Yeah, he's like... And he's the type of person that if he decides, I'm not having that anymore, or I'm doing this, or I'm not doing that, he's literally like, that's it.
I
You
love
like if
that.
he decided one
That
day...
ability to just turn it on
You know, if
is-
he decided one day, I'm breaking up with you, that'd be it. there'd be no fucking
Can't wait
changing
till
of
he
his
gets home
life.
and it's
See
fucked
ya.
off left in this. Just gets home, he's left at the air fryer and fucked off.
He knows I look like...
He's got that down, was right about mental or swimming, I'm off.
She left his shit in the toilet.
Yeah, he's written his name in shit on the wall, I'm off.
There wouldn't be, to be honest with you, if he left, there'd be... My house would still be the same because all the junk in it's mine, to be honest.
Same as my other half.
Yeah,
all
he's
the outside
very
things.
basic living.
Camp chairs and a TV.
But we touched on it there a little bit. We keep jumping points
Sorry.
there. But like tracking and measuring is so important. Back to like Mike now, measuring everything. Like we track and measure everything that we do. And I think it massively helps with like obtaining results and improving performance.
And I find even if you get somebody to be like anal at the start, they can release it a little bit the better they get because you get a better eyeball for food, you get a better understanding of what
yeah,
you're
you
doing,
know
and
what's
then
on
you
your
can
plate
slowly
then.
phase in and out when you need to turn your goals on. Nobody needs to be dialing all the time. But having that basic understanding and that ability to like, right, I understand what I need to eat, this is what my portions normally look like, this is how I weigh it. Do that for 4 weeks. You won't need to do it for another 6 or 8 weeks, maybe longer, to get your eyeball back in.
Yeah.
Like going back to the training, for me now, 4 days a week is maximum. I find I can't A, fit it in like I used to, and B, I can't recover if I train properly. Like I find if I do like a proper periodized plan and I'm going through it and peaking a little bit, I can't train that Wednesday or that Saturday and Sunday. I need the downtime because my lifts just suffer and then I get into a hole. But that's just my personal preference as well. I like a day off. I like to go and like read in the garden in between clients. I mean, instead of thinking about got to get my session in,
Yeah.
got to get this done, because it becomes, excuse me, I think it can become quite consuming. I don't know if you guys like, what are your splits currently? What do you train like?
Well, in the gym or myself?
What's your personal training like?
He's a hybrid rock star now.
Oh, I saw that. Proper sex offender word, that, isn't it? Hybrid rock star. I just think nonce.
Yeah, no, like, in all jokes aside, my training has changed a lot recently. So at the minute, I'm probably only doing 2 strength sessions a week.
Yeah, and then,
Probably 1 upper, 1 lower.
yeah.
And then around that, then I'm just trying to build my engine. So I'm doing a lot of zone 2 work at the minute. I'm not running a lot, just trying to build my capacity up. And then I'm going to be introducing a little bit of running, then going into I've actually got a high rocks.
Are you going to the Cardiff one?
No.
Is that this weekend?
This weekend. And I haven't announced this to anyone apart from a couple of people, but I'm doing an Ironman next year.
Psychopath behaviour.
So
You're the one that trains that music.
yeah,
No, I think people who do Ironman have either got problems or they hate their wife and kids. That's my thing. I think Ironman, it's amazing achievement.
I just fancy a target.
Well,
Some hours on a bike and stuff.
we
there,
did
wasn't it?
the coastal path walk. I don't know if you
Yeah,
followed
I
us
saw
then,
that. Yeah.
And a couple of Ironman went, didn't they?
Yeah.
What was the name of
Sean Mason Evans.
Sean Mason Evans. I was following him for ages. He had the tattoo on his calf, and he did his ligaments, didn't he? And he also said that the coastal path was harder than any Ironman he's done. Now, me and Reese and Katie and Halewen Lloyd and a few others that aren't Iron men or women all did it, and now I feel like I'm an Iron woman.
Couldn't have the tattoo now.
No, I'm gonna get the coastal path down my leg.
But it's conditioned response, isn't it? Like, I bet if you put him
Yeah.
on a bike, he'd go for like 300 kilometres, whereas you put him on a coastal path, which is undulating, horrible terrain. Like, when I saw you guys, I thought, is that going to be that rough? And then I looked at the route and I thought...
Rough?
Not
The
for me,
first
like.
hour was rough. Honestly, I did not enjoy any of it apart from
How
when
many
I got
hours
that
did it
ice
take you to all
cream.
do it?
22 and a half.
22, yeah.
You dead on your feet when you start.
Oh, fucking dead.
I was as dead in Aberaeron as what I was when I finished it. Aberaeron, I just started crying. And Reese's like, what are you crying for? I was like, why is everyone clapping? We're only halfway through. I was horrendous.
I bet it was like a proper, like, mental
Completely
task more than
mental.
anything else, like... Because I think Ironmans are, if you just want to finish, I think it's a mental task.
Yeah, that's
Same
my
with
goal.
Marathon.
But
What's
that's
your
why
goal?
I think, that's why I think
12?
you'll do it.
Yeah, so I wanted to,
Sub
me and
12.
Jack are doing it. Shout out to Jack. He's going to do it with me. So there's 2 boys from the gym who are going to do it.
How heavy are you now?
18 stone. So massive
you
focus for
bringing
me now.
that down?
Training. Training is...
I run you like Gandhi.
Training's taking a turn in me now.
He
so.
has
I saw
been
Ian
doing...
Goff did it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
didn't he? And he is massive.
Josh Turnbull, he's coming on the pod later on
Yeah,
today.
he's done it.
Some big boys, isn't he?
You have really upped your game, I would say, the past 2 weeks. You're doing well. I'm proud of you.
It's the fueling, I think, is the hardest part for Ironman mind as well. Like, have you got like an endurance coach?
No, but I probably will touch base with do you know Chris Lowe Nutrition?
No.
Yeah, he was in school with me early now, but then I probably will touch base with them and probably put a plan together.
I'd get somebody to be timing like your carb feeds, like
Yeah.
mixing your glucose and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
it's sort like
Even somebody
most of the research, they say something like 70% of the research in nutrition is all done in endurance sport because that's where it matters the most.
Yeah.
Like what's the guy who was James Morton, Team Sky's doctor years ago. He was on a podcast I listened to before and he was saying nutrition for endurance can take like an average athlete to an elite athlete overnight. He said like it's all about the feedings.
Hope for us all.
Like if you're in like team sport, he said it's like a 5%, 3% margin, but when you're on that bike for 3, 4, 5 hours, you've got to be timing your feeds, you've got to be getting, I guess 90 to 120 grams of glucose an hour depending. Mixing glucose and fructose, you've got different receptors. It's proper science.
No, I know.
Nutrition, like,
yeah, and I probably will leverage that out to someone. Well, Chris.
you probably do it yourself for.
No, I haven't really worked with any endurance athletes to that point.
I've done a little bit of nutrition for 1 or 2, but not a lot. Like I just get fueling on the day and stuff. It's a niche market.
Yeah,
You told the other half you're going to spend 10 grand on a bike.
just supporting it. To be fair,
It's an expensive hobby, innit?
it is. Yeah, I'm one of those people. Like I have to have a goal. I can't just train
Take over, like.
just to get a little bit stronger, or I have to have a goal. Like so when I was playing rugby, my goal was just get better on the rugby pitch and try and break into certain teams and things like that. That finished. Yeah, I have to have something to train for.
Training is probably massively different to when you were playing rugby, is it?
Do you know, I was only probably doing 2 to 3 strength sessions a week then, 2 probably in season with like an additional extra.
Maintenance, like.
Yeah. But there's a lot of like on your feet running and things like that.
What's your worst injury from rugby?
The one that's given me the most jip, which still gives me shit to this day, is when I tore my Achilles.
What, proper full rupture?
Not full rupture, no.
Not like that
It was
guy.
hanging on by a thread.
Because I've heard it goes like a shotgun.
Not like that guy. The physios next door. That guy that they had. There was a guy walking down the beach. One of his Achilles went, it exploded. And a big bang. So he was hopping along on his other leg.
The other one went.
The other one went.
Oh, fucking throw me in the sea. Nah.
Double Achilles.
That's like a
gone.
12-month you are doing.
He's got to be in like wheelchair, like, because he can't,
Yeah,
How long did
right.
it take you to recover from the Achilles?
Do you know, surprisingly it wasn't too bad back then.
You're
but
still
it still gives me shit
struggling
now.
now,
Tight or?
Yeah, really tight. So I've broken both ankles as well. So like my dorsiflexion, my ankle is really bad.
Shoulders?
Even though I work on it. I've done both my ACs, my shoulders.
Sound. Knees?
Nah, knees are fine. Never did my knees.
Lucky.
But I had about 6 concussions, which that.
Haunting you now or what?
Well,
Yeah.
I like to say no.
Never replies to my messages.
That's the one I'm most worried about. I mean, if my
Yeah,
kids are
today I
getting
was
into
shifted in the last 10 or 15 years, isn't it?
my kids are getting into rugby now, like if they had like 3 concussions, I'd be trying to tell them like maybe we should pack it in now, or you know, you hear these
Probably
boys.
6 concussions you know about, mind.
Yeah, I know. And like you can get hit in the stomach, like in a body shot or something, and your brain rattles in your head. That can be
There's a lot of research coming out on that now, isn't there?
frightening research.
Like, when I take rugby lads on, it's always a case of what have you injured, not have you got injuries. Because you're
Yeah.
always written off, like, you must have some off horses.
I broke my nose 4 times.
Is that all?
Oh, thanks.
No.
Isn't that bad? Fucking hell. You have got it in for me today, Daniel,
No, I
John
was gonna
Morgan.
say, like, no,
What I did?
never been kicked.
Yeah, I broke my ankle twice, my right one. I've had a lot of shoulder dislocations from being pulled, but I got hypermobility, so they come out easy anyway. Nose broke. Twice was horse, twice was drunk.
Fighting, or?
No, one was in a
Katie's a
dance.
proper scrapper when she
What?
gets on
Sunburn,
there.
give it a...
One
give
was
it-
in a-
Give him another laugh.
Oh,
at that.
mush.
No, one was in a dance off. You know when you like
Yeah.
running in and out of the, in a dance
Did
off.
you headbutt them?
Yeah.
With your
one-
nose?
Yeah,
You forgot to go out.
yeah,
You just went in.
yeah. Just went in, and then walked into a stable door drunk, the top of a door.
Why are you in the stable pissed?
Oi,
Aye,
oi.
aye, OnlyFans content.
Jim
One girl,
Bunny.
one horse.
Okay, one horse, Jim Pony.
Horses fucking terrify me.
I've had a lot of like standing on your foot and getting a.
Because they're massive, aren't they? Like,
Yeah,
what's a
I had one
cob
about
weigh?
3 weeks, probably about 600 kilos.
Yeah.
About 4 weeks before the wedding,
Why,
when
like?
stood on my foot. Well, it was. I didn't even think I'd get my wedding shoes on, to be honest.
Does
but I
that
did.
bit actually work? Because I don't believe it.
Yeah.
It stops the 600 kilo horse just deciding to career off with you.
Yeah, but you also use your seat. Like
Tell me
your inner thighs, your core.
It's stopping 600 kilos of horse.
Yeah, so like
I'm not buying this.
with my horse.
Science, bro.
Yeah. I need to know what you're doing
So
with
like
the horse.
with my horse now, like
My thighs.
my
Gives a
dad-
wink. She's like, stop a 600 kilo horse with these thighs.
They can.
So my husband married me.
Honestly, if you gave me a piggyback now, I'd squeeze the life out of you.
Who's that Bond villain on the top? Used to kill people with her
With his
thighs
ass.
and shit. No, that's our
Oh,
job,
no.
that is. Xenia on the top. She used to crush the life out of them with her thighs.
I
See
could
what
do
side
that,
On the top. I'm going to start calling
Yeah, on the
Katie's name. On the top.
on the top. Do a side by side of on the top. Name the Bond villain.
We'll
Right.
put it in the
Do you
show
want a
notes.
serious answer?
Yes.
Yes, please, on the top.
If I'm riding like my horse that I've done very well with, so he's very well school trained. Obviously, I could use my hands to stop him, but I generally don't use my hands. I would use like my seat and my core. So if you're sitting up straight, like if you're leaning forward, they generally feel like they want to go faster.
Right.
But if I were just to bring my centre of gravity back a bit, squeeze my thighs, use my core, lean back, he would come
He'll
back.
stop, like.
Yeah.
That's got to be well trained, though, yeah.
Yeah.
He's very well trained.
That's
Can you
not-
just get on a random horse and do that?
Nah.
Like when you just found in a field? Right, there we are. Like he's been trained.
Yeah.
Because you do dressage.
Yeah, training, yeah.
that the-
yeah. The
Yeah,
dancing,
yeah.
yeah.
Dad
yeah.
wants to know basically is how do you stop a 600 keg horse from
Without the
stopping?
rifle. So like you say, it's like positionally controlled.
Yeah, so like I
'Cause
would
it knows
train him
you.
that when I first train them, obviously when you ask them to walk, you'd like lean back and you'd ask them with like squeeze them, squeeze your legs, squeeze your hands, and then they'd start realizing then. So then you can like reduce how much like hand work you'd use, because you wouldn't want to be like a handsy rider, because you want to be soft in the mouth. Basically, you want to pretend like you've
your mouth wants to be
the
soft.
horse.
I was like, what?
You want the horse to have a soft mouth.
You have to have a soft mouth,
so it looks presentable and
no, just so that because a softer mouth is more control. If you have like a hard mouth, it means that you'd.
So it's also the jaw you're controlling now then.
Well, you're in there like lips.
Right, I get you.
But
do you?
Yeah, sort of.
But how you want to hold the reins, right? So you've got your reins in your hand. You want to pretend like you're holding a bird in your hand. You don't want to crush the bird because you'll kill it. And you don't want to let go of the bird because you don't let go. If you let go of the bird, the bird's going to fly off. Yeah, so you want to have nice, soft hands like that.
Do you break horses as well?
And that's what my husband did do.
Does that take ages?
No, like 3 to 6 weeks.
I reckon I'd be good at that.
Depending on how wild they are. He says this every time.
I wouldn't even know where to start.
Just jump on it.
Squeeze your legs.
Remember those rugby injuries? They're going to be nothing compared to what you get when you jump on
soft mouth mush.
Soft mouth mush. So that's what I'm going to ask you as well. Let's go back to like the CrossFit stuff or like the gym stuff. How do you program for long-term development with your kind of clients? Like, so obviously you've got, I think CrossFit's massively encompassing in it, so there's quite a lot of factors. I'm interested in how you program for like long-term development. Like, do you have 6-8 week periods of like where you're working more at strength work? Do you have like 6 or 8 weeks of where you're more engine work, like gymnastics and skills stuff? Like, how do you do it?
I think it's worth noting with us that our gym is very much CrossFit for the general population. I think a lot of gyms, some CrossFit gyms, they kind of coach elite athletes. So and like every CrossFit gym is different in that essence. We're quite new to CrossFit, so our massive demographic is people who are quite new to CrossFit. So like that's important to remember. And we're also not just a CrossFit gym, so we try and tie in the CrossFit programming with the other classes as well. So we've got like a Cattlestrength sessions as well. So they on a Monday, for example, if we do like a squat focus in a CrossFit class, the Cattlestrength group will also do a squat focus, so it doesn't cross over. So you can kind of jump in and out of both. So that works quite well. But we'll periodize our blocks into like 8 to 10 weeks. And then we'll have like key performance indicators that we want to work on within that. So there's usually 2 strength pieces, 2 to 3 strength pieces. So for example, now we're working on the push press, we're working on a back squat. It's just 2 at the minute, and a snatch, probably. And then we'll also put 1 skill element in as well. So that would be the main focus over that 10-week period. In terms of like mixing intensities, then we'll do like 1 zone 2 monostructural day, and then we'll have like 2 high intensity sessions, and then we'll have like 1 easier session as well in that day as well, and that week as well.
Take some planning that.
Yeah, but then it'll tie in with our Cattlestrength classes as well. So all the programming for Cattlestrength kind of ties into each other. Apart from the high rocks, they just do their own thing and
Be hybrid rock stars.
But we'll make sure we'll have like 1 day will be like a weightlifting focus, 1 will have a gymnastic focus within the WODs, and then 1 will have like a monostructural focus as well. And then we'll change the KPIs then every 8 to 10 weeks. So I like to run an 8 to 10 week block.
I'd say you wouldn't see much inside that block.
No, but I think it does work quite. I'm quite proud we do get good results.
I've seen, I was watching some again the other day.
We test everything at the start, we retest, reassess and retest, and then we log everything, so everything's tracked. Even the 3 rep maxes, 5 rep maxes, 8 rep maxes, we track everything.
Have you got like an individual profile for every client that comes
The
with it?
app that we use is really good. So the app,
What have you got?
WOD board.
Right.
So it's really good. So like we like to program in percentages a lot of the time. And everyone who knows who's done the 1 rep max testing, especially in something like a back squat now. Most people who've been here long enough now know what the 1 rep max back squat is because we've tested it. So when we program in percentage work, the app will just tell you what weights to use. You don't have to think about it.
Yeah, class.
So it'll be like things like that. And then we'll cycle intensities then across the week, like I said. So we'll do our tougher sessions, say like Monday, Wednesday. We'll have a monostructural day and a Friday, and then there'll be 1 to 2 skill sessions in that time as well. Alice and Owen take care of the gymnastic skill stuff, and then me and Owen will do the Olympic weightlifting, and then one will be like snatch and one will be clean and jerk then.
I thought we've got it all mapped out then, because I've never really asked anybody that run a CrossFit facility how well they program, because I've always thought especially with the different abilities, it's very hard to get it all under one program. And it's like seeing doing development and testing, like we said, what gets measured gets managed. And I think that's important to show people that they're actually achieving, especially if they're not really that focused on, say, a fat loss goal or an aesthetic goal. You can give them those strength numbers, those performance numbers, and they know they're moving forward. And whether people think it or not, we're all competitive inwardly, and we all want to beat what we've done before. And I think that's a massive reward for most people.
But I'm a massive believer as well in like simplicity in programming. So even though like our programming might look complicated because there's so many different modalities with weightlifting, gymnastics, the actual strength programming is so simple with us. Like my favorite strength plan is a Wendler 531. Gym, like
it works for most beginners. I'd argue against it for anybody past beginner stage, but I do like 531. Like Wendler, I think my argument against Wendler's 531 is once you've accrued a good level of strength base, there's not enough intensity work at the higher intensities, and if you deload every 4th week, you essentially lose a quarter of the year to deload.
Yeah, that's a good point. But like, the simplicity behind it though seems to work a lot of the time with us. And we won't follow that all the time, but we will throw that in.
It's nice to have as a strength,
And
the plus sets build buy-in, don't they? When you get an extra rep or two, everybody's like, oh yeah, G'd up for the next week, and then you get your +3 and then your +1. Like,
but I think simplicity wins. Like most of the time with us, like simple progressive overload.
Especially when you look at like the strength-based stuff, I would argue nothing's changed since the 70s, since the Russians tweaked it.
No. And if it's got an Eastern European name in front of it, it's probably going to be good for you.
Anything like that tends to work. Like, and I think I would argue most people are probably at best intermediate lifters, and then you see headers doing like daily undulating periodization, coupling it with maybe a bit of small of, and then wondering why their knees are coming off. And they also work 5 days a week.
Have you ever done small
off? Hobby. No, I've never run small because I know my kneecaps wouldn't cope with it. Yeah. Have you run small of?
No, but I know like one of my best mates has, and I don't know how he managed it, to be honest. Is it 5 days a week squatting or is it 4?
5 days. You've got like 10 sets of 3, like 3 sets of 7, 3 sets of 5. Is all weird percentage differences across the week, and people put mega numbers on it, but like it is Selly's thing of like the cell needs to nearly die to adapt, and that's essentially what small of is. Like you will break yourself if you've got any tidy numbers. You must be like, especially with like a 10 sets of 3 at like 90%, you're going to be there for like an hour and a half just squatting.
I know.
It's not for me. Like,
have you ever done any like what's that barbell stuff?
No, I've never dipped into like the DUP stuff and all the speed day. I think I did look into Brandon Lilly's stuff before. Like he does cube methods.
Yeah.
I just find there's not enough time in each modality. Like I think from what Jeff has taught us in uni, you kind of have to have a time where you build some accumulation. I tend to use accumulation and intensification. So I'll use like higher reps to build the volume and engine in the tank, and then I'll taper as intensity climbs. I'll drop volume so they cross each other, and then drop into lower reps, and then get to like a peak week and deload. I got a client lift into my...
That's so simple.
Basics done well. It's not jazzy, and it's all... I think most of my clients do 4 main compounds a day, and if you've got a chance, you can get some accessories in. Like,
it's quite a lot.
Probably 3, 6, 9, 12 sets.
Oh yeah.
No, it's not a huge amount of volume really. Just to get enough of a stimulus and an adaptation, like not to burn people out. And I think most people think they can train more than they can, and a lot of what they do is fluff.
Yeah, you're better off putting that intensity into 12 sets than doing 20 sets.
There's a big movement towards volume being the primary indicator of hypertrophy at the minute, but I still think that a lot of the research points to there's got to be a middle ground with enough intensity. And if you hit 3 to 4 sets with a higher intensity, like an 80%, and it is actually your 80%, you don't want to be doing 6 sets of curls or something at the end. Like
No, I completely agree. I think to get stimulus from training, I think intensity is super, super important. I think you can get that, if you train in the right environment. I think environment is
I think recording is massive as well. Like I think you might feel like it was an RPE 9, but it looks like an RPE 7. I remember my old coach used to humble me all the time. I'd send him a video thinking, I've smashed that. I'd have said that in ages. He's like, 2 more in the tank if you wanted it. Yeah. And then you look back at the video and you're like, fair. Like, have you got any... I don't know how many... Is this your first games here?
First open, yeah.
Have you... I've seen, like, a lot of the CrossFit facilities get a little bit of this, like, athlete general population divide, where when the games comes around, the guys who are really up for the games tend to get, like, an athlete program, and then the guys who are not bothered get... I don't want to say this, but get neglected a little bit, because... they want to send people to the games because the games is what really drives like the marketing. Like, I don't know if you don't seem like that's your goal, but I've seen it in gyms around for the Talbot and like Swansea area where they'll pump people into the athlete program, and then the 60% of their membership that are really paying their bills are
100%
sacked off for like being like the coaches. Like,
I never want to do. I like it when the coaches join in. Like, the coaches will do our programming.
That's all I follow. It's like 4 days a week.
Even like everyone will join in. Like, we're not, and it works. But a lot of the time, because we're relatively new to CrossFit, like a lot of our members didn't even know what a kip was 8 months ago. Yeah. So we haven't got that,
that level of competitor.
No, but we scale everything. So, O's could easily join in a class. Yeah. O's is the best CrossFit in the country, and he would easily be able to join in a class. We would just scale up with him.
Yeah.
I think it'd be interesting to see how the next CrossFit Open goes now that, because a lot of people. No, I'm on about the Open, not the Games.
Right, sorry.
So the Open this year, a few people joined, didn't they? That, like, I think only joined because they felt a bit of FOMO.
Fair.
And I think the amount of people that didn't sign up to it had real FOMO. So I think their numbers will increase next year, and it might end up a bit more of a thing again. Do you know what I mean? Because we had 60, did we? 60?
Yeah,
that's a good number, that is.
Yeah, but there was a
What's
lot
that
of
percentage relation to your gym numbers?
I don't like talking about my numbers.
fair.
But an awful lot of people came.
All of our members did.
An awful lot of people came to watch. That are members.
I do like that about the game sort of stuff. Like, you see, they build a really good like community spirit, and I think that's massive.
It was good. Well, we had the last one. We had the food van and a bar, and it was good.
That community, like, we had it in Vitality when I worked there before COVID, and it built up like an amazing like core members, and then like COVID just murdered it, and then we had like Pure Gym and some other ones open up, and it was so hard to get back. I think if you've got a really good community aspect, it's something you really need to fight to keep hold of. It's hard to maintain though. Like, I remember organising like parties. I think you're doing a summer social and that.
You come in?
So
do you want to come?
What date?
We're walking Canterbury just first because we love walking.
Go on, I'll come for a stroll.
But
it's so much goes into that. I think members don't always see, like, like, you're organising a food van, getting like drinks here, like, it takes a massive effort from you guys to get that, and if you can keep that community growing, fair play to you.
I think it's important with us, like, a little bit off topic here, but like, we're not just a CrossFit gym. So, like, it's not just the CrossFit guys that have the community. Like, everyone that comes to Cattlestrength is part of the community. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the programming for like the Cattlestrong classes, even the sweat classes, like, they all tie in together. So we're not just a CrossFit gym. You think of like some of these gyms, like the ones you spoke about, that have the athlete program. And,
they're CrossFit only, see, and they think.
Yeah, and I think there is a difference.
Oh yeah.
And I like being not just a CrossFit gym.
I don't know anybody who's doing what you were doing. Yeah. It seems like a lot of the smaller facilities, like CrossFit facilities, are just CrossFit. There's no room for anything else. Like, it is all CrossFit or nothing. Like,
and a lot of CrossFit coaches will only believe that CrossFit is the only way to get results, and I'm not of that belief. I love CrossFit. I think it's a great methodology, and I love to coach it, and I love to do it. But I kind of see other standpoints from different coaches as well.
Didn't Glassman say something like, when they tried to interview him about it, they were like, what evidence have you got to support that it's the greatest modality for training muscle building? And he was like, it just is. I'm like, But at the same time, though, they have an open for a reason. And if someone thinks that they're better, they're more than open to join and try and beat them. And no one has done yet. Yeah, nobody's kind of matched it yet, have they? No. And how do you... It's how strange... There's no better argument, really. Would you class as the fittest on earth? Yes. Depends on your definition of fitness on earth, really, doesn't it? What's your definition of fitness on earth? I think my thing of fitness on earth is probably a decathlete. Yeah, but... combining skill sports as well. And strength and endurance. And how much strength does a decathlete have? Would a decathlete... Could say Jonathan Edwards cleaned 150. He was like a multi-sport athlete, wasn't he? Yeah, but would he be able to clean that and then do a Fran? What is CrossFit's definition of the fitness on earth? Work capacity across broad time and modal domains. So being able to do like that. Everything. Okay. Being able to do everything well, basically. Yeah. Maybe my definition is maybe a little bit less broad, maybe. I like specificity more than I like things.
CrossFit won't believe in specificity.
Yeah.
Like, you could argue, so you look at Paula Radcliffe, she's probably got like up there with the best endurance in the world. And then you look at Eddie Hall, he's probably got up there with the best strength in the world.
Yeah.
But if you tested Eddie Hall on an endurance piece, he wouldn't be very well. If you tested Paula Radcliffe on a...
But then if you tested a CrossFitter against Eddie Hall, he wouldn't be close, would he? Same as endurance. Like, that's the different dimensions then, isn't
you're
it?
meant to be able
Your
to
work
do
capacity
everything,
would be that line underneath where endurance and strength meet. You know, your flexibility, your monostructural work, your everything, gymnastics.
We've been brainwashed, so we're fine.
I'm just interested in discussing it. Like, I want to know what people's definitions are. Like, we've all got different reasons for why we do things, and we...
I would simplify it as like being able to do everything well, so you don't have a weakness.
Do you need to do everything well?
But that would class you surely as the
fittest.
fittest.
That depends on what you want, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
If you're looking to be the fittest man or woman in the world, that decathlete is going to have...
I think you could put a
someone that he or
decathlete
she
in there that would do well.
100%.
I'm not saying they would win it, but I'm saying they'd be up there.
CrossFit tries to find a weakness in there. That's what they try and find. So they throw in a rope climb one year. And Rich Froning bombed out.
Climbing threw loads of people out.
Yeah, Rich Froning was on his way to win CrossFit Games. They threw a rope climb in the last event and he bombed out. He couldn't climb a rope. He was just using his arms and he bombed out at the final. A year later, he came back, won. There was about 15 rope climbs
To be
in there.
fair to him, he was pretty...
He's now got rope climbs in. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just trying to find that weakness so people get better. If you look at the scores in the CrossFit Games 10 years ago compared to now...
Oh, yeah.
It's frightening and they're only getting better. My argument is, like, you know, they open it up to anyone to try and beat them.
It's more professional now, though, isn't it? I think you touched on it with Owen, like he said, it's so much more professional now, whereas I think when he was kind of starting, there's, like, you're trying to get into it, you're doing a job.
Social media wasn't a thing then either, like, as what it is now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's not the
They're all
funding.
full-time athletes now. They'll take 3 years out. They live off £10,000 to £15,000 a year. All they want is their food and their gym membership.
And see if they can make it. Like.
And they'll see if they can make it, and those who can't, it's like survival of the fittest, and then that 3 years that these athletes have, you know, that's what makes them...
Yeah. Like, what's your performance markers from start to end then? What do we want to call it?
What do you mean now?
Like, from where, like you said, you only do Cattlestrength programming. Call it?
No, we're good. Keep it going.
Because, like, obviously you said, I only do Cattlestrength programming. You've been here. Like, what has been your journey performance-wise?
I couldn't back squat at all. I had bulging discs in my lower spine. Yeah. But now I can do like 7.
Yeah, did you get 70 with triple the other day?
Yeah, so...
fair enough.
And I didn't start back squat until September, did I? Again?
No.
Because I couldn't hinge, couldn't load. Tweaks occasionally with, say, like I do a WOD with deadlifts in it. You know, because I'm hinging a lot.
Yeah.
Or if I've ridden a small horse. They like have a lot shorter.
Oh, here we go. Small horse for the soft mouth.
No, like I train one for a kid and I ride it like once a week.
Right.
And because she's got...
Do you have to have your legs like behind you?
No, because she's got a shorter stride.
Right.
It's a lot more like impact on my lower back. So, yeah.
I didn't know that.
And yes, I like my gymnastics has come on a lot. Yeah. Definitely come on a lot.
The gymnastics is something else, isn't it? Like, I just see some of that and I think, unless you've been in a good environment as a kid, that stuff's ridiculously hard, isn't it? I think that's the one that humbles, like, one of the boys comes to the gym, his son went to Commonwealth, and he was saying, like, he was explaining to me, like, I thought, no, the muscle up's amazing, and he was like, that's literally just a tool to get up to the rings.
Yeah.
I know, like, CrossFit loves it, and it's a good strength element, but he was like, that's just to get up in position.
Said
like
that the other day. Someone said that as well.
I can't remember.
Like, the purist as a gymnastic will see that as, they won't even see that as part of the routine, that's just like a move
no,
to get
someone
in.
on my CrossFit course said that. Yeah.
Dan, any parting advice for our listeners?
He's wrapped it straight up. we've got other pods to record for.
Is this
longest? We're an hour and a half.
Bloody hell, Daniel.
Sorry. Talking shit all day.
Literal shit.
Dan's been giving me looks for the last 10 years.
10 years.
Do you want it as like fitness related? Do you want it as feeling as
anything
like
you want.
be consistent over the long time? What gets measured gets managed. It's just my motto.
Where can we find you, Dan?
We know. When are you coming back for round 3?
I'm done now. I think you've had enough for me.
Right, so we've done 45 minutes the first one, hour and a half now. Next one's going to be fucking 3 hours long.
We'll have to do...
I'm done now. I think you've got all the topics out to me, to be fair.
Thanks, Dan.
We will have you back.
Thank you.
Thanks, Daniel.